Dialogue Podcast, guided by spirit around truth. It's not small talk, it's true dialogue.
Good morning, good afternoon. It might be evening in some places. Welcome in, family of overcomers. As always, give yourselves a round of applause. You are now zoomed into the True Dialogue podcast that I am your host, Queen SGV MesTe, the Valley Girl, aka the Triumphant One. I pray everybody is doing well today. All is well with you today. It is Monday. Everyone should be starting their week off with an attitude of gratitude. As I always say, it is my pleasure to be here. Today is a very special day. Outside of the monthly grief coaching that I do, my other favorite aspect of doing these streams and podcasting is when we have guests. And today I have a very special guest joining us, my neighborhood friend, former NBA player, and graduate apparel. He is phenomenal in my eyes, a superstar in my eyes. Please join me in welcoming our special guest, Corie Blount. Hey,
Hey, I didn't hear the applause. I didn't hear the claps that I heard in the first
hey.
sentence.
Coming, it was definitely coming. You know, I wouldn't leave you out. Definitely had to get you in there. That's the whole purpose. Always giving people their flowers while they are here. And I felt this was only appropriate for me as I take on this journey in life to reach out to family and give them their flowers while they are here. I'm a firm believer in giving people their flowers while they are here. If something happens, we're going to be Johnny on the spot, right? To reach out and say, but we rarely, when people are here, set our pride aside to say, you know what, you inspire me. I love the work that you're doing. I love what you do. Congratulations, big ups, whatever the flower looks like, right? So I want to say thank you. I'm gonna give you a round of applause for that too.
There we
Thank
go.
you for taking time out of your busy day and joining me today and giving me the opportunity to have this exclusive conversation with you because I know you've been interviewed a million times, but ours is different.
Yeah, no doubt.
Ours is different. So again, Corie, go ahead. I'll have some things I can discuss about you, but I always give my guests the opportunity. This is what I say when the guests come on. You are officially the host today. I'm the
Okay.
co-host. Go ahead and let the world know we are streaming from 8 different platforms right now. You know, there are 8 billion people in the world. My belief is if I reach one, I count it all joy. So you have a lot going on. I see the graduate. We'll get into that. Just let's go ahead and tell the guests a bit about Mr. C Blunt, C Boogie.
Woo, man, it take about 8 hours for me to break down
Uh,
the full
Five.
context of who I am and what I've accomplished and where I've come from. But I guess in a nutshell, I'm a retired NBA player. Started at the University of Cincinnati from Monrovia, California, of course. Um, Married, family, kids, enjoying my life, enjoying being a dad, enjoying being a husband, enjoying working with youth and inspiring people with my company and my brand, and just being active and hopefully being the best person I can be right now. Um, I guess the other thing is to know that I still have a lot of love for a lot of people who I grew up with and interacted with along my journey. So just being the best person I can be, I guess we're probably going to each step in each detail of my life. So I don't want to kind of speak on things too fast. But yeah, that's just a simple introduction of who I am. I played with some of the best players that ever played the game during, to me, the best era of basketball in the 90s. So that played a major part of identifying who I am and the things I accomplished.
I didn't know, of course. regardless to whether I know a person or not, when I bring a guest on, I feel that it is proper etiquette, professional etiquette, especially in the world of journalism, where whether it's mainstream social media, podcasting, streaming, to
Yeah.
always do your research. And I knew that you played for some of the best teams in the NBA.
Yeah.
I knew Chicago Bulls. I knew the Lakers. What I did not know is that you, and I knew you played for the Suns.
Yeah.
I played for Golden State Warriors.
Yeah.
Hey, my boy hasn't really played like for the best teams on the West Coast.
Yeah.
You got top teams. I mean, hands down, I'm not a big. I don't know much about sports. I'm the girly girl sports, gymnastics, things like that. I'll be honest. It wasn't really until you went to the NBA that I really started taking a look at some of the games. And of course, I'm a mother of two boys. Now, my oldest
Right.
son didn't miss with you. He is
Okay.
to this day a Laker and Cowboy fan, and has been
Okay.
since he it, right? So he didn't miss a beat with you, whether you were on the Bulls, whether you were with the, and especially when you were with the Lakers. So
Right.
now that they're grown, I get my insight from them. But I do know this: the Lakers and Golden State Warriors, by far, when we talk about the West Coast teams, in my knowledge, and correct me if I'm wrong, are the best two teams on the West.
No question. No question. Yeah, right now, yeah, I would agree with that. When I played for the Warriors, they weren't. We weren't that good when I played for the Warriors. But after the Steph Curry era took place, the Golden State Warriors are definitely one of the premier teams in the NBA.
Right? Isn't it? It's still uh, so phenomenal, I'll say, right? Even if they weren't where, even if they weren't back then where they are today,
Hmm.
it's still phenomenal to see where they are and know that you are a part of that league. You're still attached to that league,
No
And
doubt.
the other thing I didn't know, and I was like, okay, this is really a big deal. I did not know that you were 25th in the first round draft.
Yep. Yep. First
I,
round.
I
Yeah.
did not know that. So look, I'm gonna give you some what? Right? I did not know that.
Yeah, that sounds good hearing claps for that after 30 years later. So yeah, keep that applause going.
Yeah, I did not know that. And so I was so elated when I seen that. And I was like, wow, our very own was a first round draft. Again, I don't know much, but I know when you get drafted in the first round, that is big.
Yeah, yeah.
That means you have some attention on you, whether you're the first, anything in the first round far, then you got picked 25th.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's like when you get drafted the first round, each draft has, what, isn't it like up to 100 picks or something?
It's 2 rounds. It's 2 rounds, and it was oh my God, how many picks was it? 31. I think 31 teams back. It's done changed since I got drafted, but so you got 2 rounds at 31 picks, I believe. 32, I believe.
Well, you still got drafted
Yeah, yeah,
first round.
yeah.
So
Yep.
just to say, so you graduated from, well, you attended Cincinnati, Ohio, Cincinnati. Tell me the name of the college, 'cause I know the name of
University of Cincinnati.
Cincinnati. I apologize.
Bearcats.
Right, the bear.
Yeah.
That's what the claw is. Is that that's what the
Yeah.
claw
Yeah, we call this the sea paw.
for you?
Yeah, this the sea paw.
That's what I'm saying. I just that posted, and the man was like, "This is Corie Blount. Do you know, I need one of those backpacks. I'll pay for it, but I like the backpack.
Yeah, we
I,
working on that. I got you. I got you.
yeah, I mean, I'll buy it. I support. I believe in support. You guys supported me when I graduated with my master's,
Yeah.
and I say thank you for that. I was looking for my picture and trying to. I have things going on with getting these podcasts off. I'm working on another podcast, in fact, with King T. and his liquid. And so I've been working on that. I want to make sure the paperwork, the business, you know how it is, the business and things are right. And so doing my research, booking guests and things like that, I wanted to wear my graduate shirt. I'm like, where are my shirts at? But I want to say thank you, and thank you to Stephen Mincy. Shout out to Stephen Mincy. Hope you're out there watching, for your support, because I graduated with my master's. You seemingly know a bit about my background, and I
Yep.
did it with honors. But I'll be honest with you, one of the biggest moments of that time for me was to have your support. To have graduates say, "Here's the T-shirt, here's the lapel," and I still have my lapel. And
Yeah.
so we'll talk about graduate in a minute. When I seen the backpack, I'm like, definitely want a backpack.
Well,
So
I still have your pictures, so if you need me to send you a copy of your pictures, I still have them. So
okay, I don't
yeah,
need to go through and through, but if you have easier access, that's fine. I wanted them for today to bring them up so I can show. Like I was like, yeah, I was really, really excited to be a part of that. And like I say, the support, looking at the 8 years. But again, we'll get into that. University of Cincinnati, 2 years.
yep, 2 years.
2 years. How did that situation go? I've always wondered. I know scouts come out and things of that nature. How exactly does the scouting process go? Because you went to a JC prior
Yep,
to that.
yep.
That long to say, "Whoa, this guy is 6'10." But I'm gonna tell you about Walnut, and when Mike walked me back, I wonder if you remember.
Hey, you know what? It's gonna be hard for me to not laugh because I know you know about everything I'm getting ready to say already. So I'm gonna try to, man. It's like being interviewed by my sister, man. So
Well,
forgive me.
love you for that.
Yeah,
Right. I was saying, so I've always wanted to know, but I know typically it goes college, I mean, high school, college. For
yeah,
you to a JC,
yeah.
the fortunate thing, and I'm so grateful God worked in your life, because again, correct me if I'm wrong, a lot of people, when they go to JC from high school, they don't tend to make it NBA.
Correct. Very few. Very few.
Very few, right? And so you did, though.
Yeah,
You,
yeah.
so how did that process work? Going from JC to now university and then the NBA.
Well, I'm gonna walk you through even how I ended up at the JC because it really started there for me, and then the university started calling. But before the universities and before the junior colleges, it was definitely Monrovia High School, and going through that experience of Mel Sims, who was the head basketball coach at that time, really telling me that I had the ability to go to junior college. I didn't have a clue about college or how to get to college or even what was
Wow.
required to go to college. So after I got through playing my senior year, um, I didn't have no intentions on going to college. Nobody was recruiting me. I wasn't a top player in the state, so I wasn't really getting offered to go play anywhere at the time. And I guess I got to break the story down because going into my senior year, I remember my counselor, Miss Taylor. She called me to her office and she said, "Look, Corie, if you don't pass this algebra class, you will not be graduating." And when she said that, I took it on the shoulder. I wasn't really pressed about it as much as I probably should have because I thought I was going to be able to get a D minus in the class. That's what I was telling myself. Well, I know I can get a D in the class. Well, I ended up getting an F in the class, and because of that, I wasn't able to graduate on time. So that when that happened, that definitely stopped me from even having an opportunity to go to any college at that time. So I was done. I was just hanging around the neighborhood. I got a little job at Kmart and was just mostly focused on being around the neighborhood. And Coach Sims always stayed on me like, you should be playing basketball somewhere, man. You have the gifts, you have the talent. And next year when Byron Jackson, who was a guy who played on my team, my junior. He was a junior when I was a senior, and he said next year he's going to be taking Byron to these different schools, and I'm going to come get you. I want you to go with him. And so I told him, well, whenever you're ready, I'm ready. And so lo and behold, just random after Smoke nickname was Smoke. After he graduated and said he was getting ready to take Smoke to these different schools, he came and picked me up. and we were headed to Riverside Junior College. He had a connection and a relationship with the coach out at Riverside, and we were headed to Riverside Junior College, and we got on the 10, and the traffic was just crazy. Like, we weren't moving nowhere. I was getting frustrated. Smoke was getting frustrated, and we was just like, man, coach, we might have to try this another day. We're not gonna make it to Riverside on time. So Coach Sims got off the highway, and back then, we didn't have cell phones, so he got off the highway and ran to the payphone, and he called down to Santa Ana Junior College, where he knew the head coach there, Dana Pageant. And so he called Dana and said, yeah, I got guys working out now. Bring them on down here. So we got back in the van and headed the opposite way, another 40 miles down to Santa Ana Junior College. And it was just a tryout. It was open gym. They had about 3 other different schools there looking at players. And me and Smoke went in there, and they put us on teams, man, and we just balled. It was just open gym, open rec. And everybody was just free flowing, and it was open rec and playing hard. And so eventually I must have played pretty good after we got done, because after we got finished, Coach Pageant came and spoke to Coach Sim, was like, man, I really like your guys. And if they're willing to come to school here, I'll take them. So that was my first time even having an opportunity to be offered to go to play ball at a junior college, period. And so when he asked Byron was like, yeah, I'll come. And he went and asked me, and he said, and Coach Sims was like, well, Byron played for me this year, and Corie played for me last year, and I brought him to hopefully be able to come play with Smoke. And so Coach Pageant was like, well, would you like to go here? And I was like, yeah. He said, well, did you graduate? And I was like, no, I didn't. He said, why not? I said, well, I needed an algebra class. And he was like, oh, man. He said, well, you think you can get your GED? And before I can even answer, Coach Sims said, hell yeah, he going to get his GED. And we're going to get that taken care of as soon as we get back to Monrovia. You know what I mean? So from that, we came back. I enrolled in, back then, they had a GED program at Santa Fe Middle School. It was a camper. I ended up going there, and I ended up getting my GED that summer. And I enrolled in Santa Ana Junior College that next year, and the rest was history, man. I ended up being a hell of a junior college player. I can just put it like that. So that's the steps from high school and how I ended up at Santa Ana Junior College. And then I can take you from there if you got any questions. Your sound is gone. Uh-oh.
We right back.
Now I can hear you. Yeah.
Yeah. So first I want to say the power of mentorship. The power of mentorship. Audience, I really hope you heard that, because for me, out of that story that you just told, that was the biggest nugget.
Mm-hmm.
You were pretty much like, I'm over it. School is over. I don't even care about graduating or getting a GED. I done did my high school time.
Yeah,
And
gave
so,
my 6 years.
the NBA definitely is way in outer space.
Yeah.
But the power of mentorship.
Yeah.
Someone seeing in you what you didn't even see in yourself, and taking out the time to keep you in the front of their mind, to keep you postured in their heart, to push you.
Yeah.
The power of mentorship. I love that, because for me, in my trials and tribulations, that's why I do this.
Yeah.
This is what True Dialogue is about.
Yeah.
Our slogan, guided by spirit, grounded in truth.
Yeah.
To show how God is always in the background, working things out for us in ways that we cannot see. To show how he will use people in our lives. I just did an episode the other day, and I said, don't forsake the messenger. Don't forsake the messenger. He was a messenger in your life, and glory to God that you were receptive.
No question.
Glory to God that you were receptive. And so, again, we're going to talk about graduate. I'll keep saying that, but that is the best way of giving back. I
Yeah.
use my life. I don't care who it is. A lot of people don't want to share their testimony, and that's what we're called to do. As
Hmm.
God works in us, through us, our lives, we are to go out in the world, go out in the world and be an extension of his love, of his evidence, to testify and witness, right? And
Hmm.
so for me, I definitely want to be that person, and hearing you say that, it fills me up even more
Yeah.
to say, right, T, right, because one person can make a difference, and that's what I mean.
Yeah.
8 billion people in the world. Corie, if I reach one, I count it all joy.
Yeah.
And this is where, when we're sitting down having this conversation, it's important for me because, like I said, unlike the hundreds of interviews you've done, this is more intimate. This is more personal because I know the background, the
Yeah.
block, the
Yeah.
right,
Yep.
and so again, to say this is inspiration. This is a way for you to give back. And so that probably will be the most highlighted part of this interview, is to hear you tell of that story,
Yeah. Yeah.
of that story. I was done. I was, but God. And someone said, power of mentorship.
Yeah.
Power of mentorship. So just surmising briefly, because that was so powerful. Now the transition from college, from the junior college to University of Cincinnati, and which right now, correct me if I'm wrong, you are still working with the University of Cincinnati, right?
Now, I'm on the advisory council at the University of Cincinnati, and I'm also an advisor for the basketball team also. So definitely still involved in the University of Cincinnati. My wife worked there. All my kids pretty much have graduated from the university. So that's like my lifeline right now. I'm very connected to the university.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, right. And you just, I know you said you just put the apparel. You
Yeah,
guys are
we just
working.
got a license. Well, we had a license before, but we just got everything solidified once again to be able to put some more product at the university.
All right, that's powerful. Okay, junior college to college.
So to follow back on that, I got to put this part in there. Even though I didn't coming out of high school, I didn't get offers to go play ball at a junior college or a major college. I got to give props to some people in the community who helped me. Not just Coach Sims, but the Mr. Youngs. The Mr. Young used to open the gym for us on Saturday, and guys from the neighborhood would come play open gym. So that was definitely a help for me. Playing with Billy Jenkins and Mark Arnold and all these other guys who were a year older or 2 years older than me also helped me define who I was as a basketball player. So, and the reason I'm saying that is because that preparation of playing against older guys, when I went to junior college to try to play, I had an identity of who I was at that time. From playing against older guys and playing the style of play that they were playing, it helped me when I went to junior college because I knew I had to define who I was. I knew playing with them guys, if I wasn't holding my own, I wasn't going to be able to play. If you lost, you might have to sit out 2 or 3 games. So I
Right.
took that mindset and that attitude, to junior college, and it worked out for me. It definitely worked out for me. My first year at Santa Ana, we won the championship. I was an integral part in that. That school had never won a championship before, and we went 27-2. I was
Yeah.
second team all conference and second team all state that year. The next year, we won the championship back to back. The first time that had been done since the '60s, any school, and that was
Wow.
the first time Santa Ana had won back-to-back championships. And I was the National Junior College Player of the Year, the California Player of the Year, and the League Player of the Year. So,
Wow.
and we went 29-3 that year. So in those 2 years, I only lost 5 games and won back-to-back national championships. So
Wow.
from that, I'm getting letters from everybody. I had opportunity to go to a lot of D1 schools was after me after that. And I had verbally committed to go to Vegas coming out, but I wanted to go to USC. I wanted to stay local and
Home.
I wanted to stay home and I wanted to go to USC, but come to find out, USC did not accept junior college players.
Wow.
And the reason they didn't take them is because we don't go towards their graduation rate. So 2-year players don't go towards the graduation rate of the university because they only accept the graduation rate based off 4-year players. I mean, 4-year students.
Wow.
Some schools kind of stayed away from junior college players because of that. So around this time, I'm getting offered from all these schools, and I took like 4 recruiting trips. I went to Arizona State, I went to Tennessee, I went to Utah, and I took a local trip to Cal State Fullerton because a friend of mine went there, and that's where Coach Sims had a relationship. So those were the 4 trips I had taken, and then going into I had back then you could take 5 trips. So I was wondering what my 5th trip was going to be. Well, a friend of mine who I had played against, he went to Long Beach, who we beat in the championship game. Me and him became cool after the season was over. We just started meeting each other, playing open gym around the city. And he told me that Cincinnati was recruiting him. And I was like, okay, that's what's up, man. You know, I ain't no way in hell I'm going to Cincinnati. I don't know nothing about that. And the only thing we knew about Cincinnati back then was WKRP. You remember that show used to come on WKRP?
KRP, yeah, the TV show.
Yeah, so I didn't know nothing about that school, man. And then so on my team also was a guy named Eric Martin who played with me, who was a damn good player, and he got letters from Cincinnati also. So one day we just got through hooping and we went to Denny's and we sitting around the table and Terry was like, man, this coach from Cincinnati is on me, man. And Eric was like, yeah, they recruiting me too. And I'm like, man, Cincinnati? Like, yeah. He said, I'm taking my recruiting trip there in a couple weeks. And I'm like, well, T, I got one more trip, man. I think I'm gonna commit to Vegas. But let me use this last trip. I'll go with you to Cincinnati and see what's up. You know what I'm saying? Eric was like, well, you gonna go, Blount? I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go check it out. So me and Terry took our recruiting trip to Cincinnati together.
Okay.
I had no intentions on coming here, T.
Right. That's how God works.
Yeah. And the true fact of the story is, you know, in the hood, we drank 40s all day long. You know, that was our drink back then.
Right. English, right.
Yeah, so
Right.
one day, so while I'm here, you know, they treat you like royalty when you go on the recruiting trip. So they're like, man, what you drink, man? We'll take you and get you whatever you want. And I was like, man, I drink old English, thinking that they was gonna be like, oh man, you know, it's like, oh, we got 40s, you know, that's
right.
So they took me to the store and we walking around, and in the back of the refrigerator, I see this thing that says 64 ounces of Old English 800.
Right. You know what? You are the one who, now that you said it, you are the one who introduced the 64. I let us know, like, hey, they got these things. Okay, go ahead. I got you. I remember.
Yeah, I brought the bottle. I brought a couple bottles back.
Did you ever save a bottle? Like right now, do you just have a 64-ounce bottle of Old English as memorabilia?
Man, I kept them things for a while. Yep. Everybody in my dorm used to come because I used to have them stacked on my desk and everything as a memorabilia, you know, because I couldn't believe that had a influence on my choice. You know what I mean? And of course, I told my boys, like, man, I think I'm gonna come, man, because I had a great time, of course, not just the 64 ounces, but great time. Once I met the guys, they had us play open gym, and I never forget one of the guys who was here named Lou Banks. We was just going at it. He was talking trash, and I was talking trash. So I liked, that made me really like, oh, they for real out here too. So I said, man. I told Terry, man, I might come with you if we decide to come here. So we get back and we talked to Eric Martin, who I told you the other guy who was on my team, and we had went to open gym and went ate again. And Terry Nelson said, man, just imagine if we all decide to go to the same school, what we would do to any program if we all decide to go to the same place. And I was like, man, I already kind of verbally committed to go to Vegas, man. And right at that time, Tark had got fired, and they brought in a different coach, Raleigh Massimino, which I had no clue who he was.
Mm-hmm.
kind of gave me an out, saying, you know what? I said, T-Nell, man, if you seriously think about going to Cincinnati, I'll go. And Eric was like, well, if you go, I'll go.
Oh, wow,
Yeah.
cool.
So we
So you
did like,
guys kind of form your own little
yeah,
team quietly. You all
man,
going at the same time. So, again, correct me. These are people you are already playing one on ones and just around the. Okay, got you.
yeah,
So
these was
now
my
we
boys.
going to take it to right. We going to
Yeah,
take it to the
we was
hoop.
all from California, and we was all close. And it was Terry, the one who said, man, if we go to the same school, whatever school we go to, all three of us, we're going to definitely make an impact. And Cincinnati just happened to be that school we chose.
Wow. My
And
God.
yeah, that was definitely God right there, because I had just came back from, I took the trip before that. I went to Arizona State and had a real good time.
Mm.
Great. So I told him, like, well, man, I said,
You said that like it was too. Like it made me kind of curious. What kind of
yeah,
time
it
you
was
really had? 'Cause I mean.
they were one of them loving basketball type of trip.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway, okay. I'm not even gonna say that. Watch your mouth, T. Watch your mouth. Okay. So,
Yeah,
go ahead. So were they part of you? Because I know it was highlighted that you helped take Cincinnati to the Final Four
yeah, yeah,
and the Elite Eight.
yep. The Elite Eight, yep,
I'm sorry. Yeah, the Elite 8.
yep, yep. So before I came to Cincinnati, they hadn't been any good since the '60s.
Wow.
So that was just another major thing that I can give myself credit, because when I went to Santa Ana, they hadn't done nothing. Nobody knew who Santa Ana College was. I like to tell everybody, the thing that gave us the advantage at Santa Ana is a lot of teams, when they saw Santa Ana on the schedule, they thought they was probably going to be playing against a bunch of Mexicans. You know what I mean? And then,
Right, 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 right.
they see 6'10", 6'8", and we beating them by 30 and 40. We walked through California JUCO those 2 years. So I'm just like, I think that was the advantage that gave us the advantage at Rancho at Santa Ana. So when I came to Cincinnati, they hadn't really done nothing before that. And so we assembled a team of dudes that was junior college players. I think like 6 or 7 of us was junior college players. Hugs then went out and signed a bunch of junior college players. And that was really the first time that had happened since UNLV did it when they won their national championship. So we were like a group of guys that they really didn't take serious. I think we were rated like 97th in the recruiting class or something like that.
Mhm.
So my first year here, man, we turned it out. I mean, we won conference. We went to the Final Four, which that's the first time that school had done that since the '60s. So we put the University of Cincinnati basketball on the map. I like to tell everybody, this logo right here, nobody on the West Coast had a clue on what that logo represented. You know, and after we
Mhm.
went to the Final Four, I'd come home and everybody was rocking the C-Paw based on what we had did.
Yeah.
A lot of my friends and family was pissed when I went to the University of Cincinnati
Well,
because
they were, but
yeah,
I was going to say this, and I'm listening to you, but I want to be right, right, and
yeah,
let you speak. That's what it's all about. It's about you and
yeah,
you influencing the audience to understand, no matter what the circumstances look like, you can overcome and you can achieve.
yeah,
And so, Michael, I'm gonna ask the question, but I'm gonna answer it too. I'm
yeah.
glad you didn't stay and go to UCLA. I'm glad you didn't go to UNLV. I'm glad you didn't end up at Arizona. Now, I'll ask you the question. Are you?
Oh, of course, the way it turned out, yeah, yeah, definitely. I knew I played a major role in redefining the whole institution and a whole culture, because this, like I say, this logo, the basketball program before we did what we did hadn't been respected since the 1962-63 championship years. And
Right.
what we did was phenomenal at that
Phenomenal. Yeah.
with the group of guys we had, because no one had really kind of respected junior college players since the UNLV team did what they did. So we kind of gave a rebirth to that at that time, and to come home and get the love and the respect that I got after playing on national TV. We lost to pretty much one of the best teams in Michigan at that time. So that kind of brought a lot of recognition too. So it was just a phenomenal run those 2 years at the University of Cincinnati in the basketball program, playing with Nick Van Exel and Herb Jones, Eric Martin, Terry Nelson.
Oh, where old Nick at?
Yeah.
Rawr. I am curious. I'm about to Google where Nick.
Yeah,
When
that
you
was my
came to
dog.
LA, that
Yeah,
was your dog.
yeah, yeah,
I used to have the biggest crush on Nick, and I would never. I don't shoot my shot at men, right?
yeah,
So
yeah,
regardless of my right wrongs and my battles, I don't
yeah,
shoot my shot at men. But boy, though, I used to have the biggest crush on him. And every time I came face to face with him, right? Nick. Whenever you seen him out, he was always incognito.
yeah.
We
He was on
remember we was
cue.
at Paradise Club
Yeah,
Paradise one night. He's sitting at the bar. I'm like,
he have his hat
yeah.
pinned like
And I
this.
said, if he don't knock it off,
Yeah,
when you guys gave the functions, it was a lot going on. And
yeah.
I'm like, he always. Do you guys still communicate?
Oh, that's my brother. Every other
Okay.
day. Yeah, that whole group, we communicate almost every other day, man. That's my brothers. Yep, definitely.
Yeah. So going from Cincinnati now to the Bulls, what was that process like in terms of being scouted? How did you end up from Cincinnati? You're phenomenal. You start shining in because in Monrovia, like you said, you were cool, but I think it was your height.
Yeah, yeah,
Because I know when I seen you, I had never seen anybody in my life that tall. Now, mind you, my brothers, Corey and Preston, are pretty height.
yeah,
Reggie. I never seen anybody in my life that tall. I just remember walking the house and seeing legs and knees, and I
yeah,
did you just like this. You was sitting in that chair, then you stood up. I said, heck to the no.
yeah.
So you start your shine, JC, Cincinnati, you blow it up, transition from Cincinnati now to
So this
pros.
this this is the lead.
Chicago at that.
Yeah, this was the lead in.
Jordan.
Yeah, this was the lead in for that. So I got to take it back because when I first committed to go to Cincinnati, my great grandmother, who I was raised by,
By
she told me like she was just so impressed that out of everybody, I was the one going to college. And I never forget we were sitting at the table and she said, "Well, I'm gonna tell you this. Far as I know, no one in our family has ever graduated from college."
wow.
And I was like, "Wow." And she was like, "Yeah, so I know you're going because of your feet, but you make sure you use your brain when you get there and
That's right.
you get your degree." And I was like, "I am, Grandma, I am." So I had made that commitment that when I got to university, I was going to leave there with my college degree. So, and the reason I'm telling you that story is because going into my senior year, the last quarter was when the NBA tryouts was happening. And I never forget, I called her and I told her, I said, "Grandma, I know I told you I was going to graduate." I said, "But these camps and these opportunities are coming for me to go to the NBA." And she was like, "See, there you go. Think about them feet again. You better get you better get that degree, boy. I told you." I said, "I know, Grandma, but this is an opportunity." She couldn't understand, the true possibility of what I was going to be able to do if I made it to the NBA. So she just wanted me to get my degree just so I could be the first in our family. Yeah,
Education. I don't think people realize, especially how important education was to our ancestors.
yeah.
And I always thought it was your grandmother you were raised by. So in fact, it was your great
My
grandmother.
great grandmother. Yeah,
So that's even more important. I don't think we realize, for those of us who were born in the 70s and 60s,
yeah,
how recent the civil rights movement and things like that. I think, Corey, you were born in 69.
yeah.
You were born off the back of that. So I don't think people really realize how segregated things were and
Right.
how recent it was. And so it was very important education. Okay, go ahead. So now you call grandma, and she telling you your feet, but your feet
Yeah.
gonna get you there.
And to piggyback off what you said, I think that was the blessing for me because sitting at that table with her, she would tell me things,
Mhm,
about her childhood and the things how she ended up in California. And you hear
mhm,
those different stories and you kind of learn a different perspective on just
mhm,
society in general.
mhm,
And
mhm.
for education to be a part of that and her to say, far as she knew, This lady's 70 something years old, and she knew way before me and know currently about our family, and no one has ever graduated. So she wanted me to do that. You know, sh- I use the term to break a generational curse.
So curse,
Yeah,
absolutely,
yeah. And I
absolutely.
took that with I took that with pride, man. I wanted to do that, but going into my senior year, everybody was predicting or saying that I could possibly be a second round pick at that time.
Hmm.
I was cool with that, just the fact that they were saying my name could possibly be an NBA player and saying I could possibly get drafted in the second round. And then so going in there, I was deciding, man, do I really want to try to go to all these different camps and workouts because they already had me slotted in the second round? And I talked to my brother Ronnie, and he was like, "Man, you might be able to improve your draft status, man. You might need to go to all those different." So I said, "All right." So I had to get an agent, and then I said, "Man, I'm going to every workout, every camp, everything they doing. Since I'm not going to be able to finish, I'm gonna just go." And it was just like when I went to Santa Ana, open gym, just hooping. And that's what I did, man. I went in there, and I think by me being able to show my skills outside of what I did at the university, they saw that I could be a complete player and a lot better than probably what they saw then. And I improved my draft status. It went from being a late second round pick to possibly a late first round pick. And I was just like, man, okay, here we go. So I went and worked out for Boston. Worked out for the Boston Celtics, Seattle Supersonics, the Suns, and the Bulls. Those were the four teams that I worked out. And at that time, Boston had the 16th pick, and I had a phenomenal workout with them. So they were telling me like, man, you're one of our guys. We're interested, and if you're around at 16, we're going to take you. I'm like, cool. Then I went and worked out for the Bulls, and Jerry Krause told me that, man, they liked everything I was doing. They said, if you're around, we're going to take you at the 25th pick. We have two picks in this draft. We got number 7, who we thinking about drafting this kid from Croatia who we're in love with. That's probably going to be the next best player to play in the NBA. And then we got the 25th pick, and we'll use that on you if you're around. So leaving those two teams, I was kind of solidified based off what they were telling me that I was going to probably get drafted. Of course, I wanted to go 16, and so I was watching the draft at my coach's house, Bob Huggins' house. Me and Nick was over there watching the draft, and when the 16th pick came, they picked AC Earl from Iowa. So I was like, oh, Boston didn't take me, which I wasn't a
Right,
Boston Celtic fan anyway.
right, right,
Lakers fan. I ain't mentally I didn't want to go there, but I'm like to play in the NBA, I'd go there.
right.
We'll continue to watch the draft, and I just remember I
And
didn't.
they didn't keep it real anyway.
Nah,
So
nah.
forget you, Boston. Y'all
Yeah,
suck. That's why you suck.
gave me another reason to hate him anyway. So
Right.
so then I just remember what Jerry said, like, man, if you're around the 25th pick, we're gonna get you. And we were sitting there watching, and the Bulls stepped to the podium, and they called my name. For the 25th pick, the Chicago Bulls select Corie Blount from the University of Cincinnati. And man, we just went nuts in there. Like,
Awesome.
yeah, yeah. But
Shout out to Chicago Bulls for keeping it 1,000. Wow.
the crazy part about that T is they started booing. And I'm like, dang, what they booing me for? But they weren't booing me. The draft was in Cleveland. And the year before, Michael Jordan hit a last minute shot on them to end their season. So they were
Oh, okay. So when it came to the Bulls pick,
they was already booing, yeah.
they were already born. So now you make it. You're in Chicago. Chicago. When I was doing my research, I came across a clip of you saying when you play for Chicago Bulls, they give you a key. You can go in there, and
Yeah,
Jordan came in. So I seen you like, oh, okay, Michael, you got your chance. One of the things that was on your bucket list was to play
yeah,
1-on-1. I
yeah,
want to ask you this question because I can say in your time, you played with two of the hottest teams at that time,
yeah,
Chicago, and then you came to the Lakers, and like you said, you guys had a powerhouse team.
yeah, yeah,
I mean, we were up there. Yeah,
yeah,
we were up there, right? I was
yeah,
just stepping into music then, so it all felt wonderful.
yeah,
It just all felt good to see my people. doing his thing that way. I'm meeting like tons of people, record music. So you got to play with Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant.
Yeah.
And I'm sure people have asked this question, but I gotta ask it. What is the difference in playing with the two? Jordan, Kobe.
For me, the difference is it's a big difference for me because when I got a chance to play and meet Michael Jordan was Michael Jordan and how already had solidified his greatness. You know,
Hmm.
everybody who watched or loved the game of basketball knew who the god of basketball was at that time, and that was Michael Jordan.
Hmm.
So he was already defined in his greatness. When I met Kobe Bryant,
He
no
was.
one knew who he was,
Mhm, mhm.
but I was able to witness him work and define his greatness every day
Wow.
from early on. Like Jordan, when I met Jordan, he was already 30 something. When I met Kobe, he was 18 years old.
Right.
And
Right.
and to be 18 years old to come into this league and have a purpose driven mindset like he did, I told him, I said, man, you one of the most mature 18-year-old dudes I done ever been around. I know for a fact I wouldn't have been able to handle this success the way I'm witnessing you handle this. And every day he proved me he didn't prove me wrong, man. He was dedicated and serious about being the best player to play basketball,
Hmm.
emulate his idol, Michael Jordan. So that was
Right.
the difference, you know. Mike was already the man and had already defined his greatness. And when I met Kobe, he was still trying to identify, make his mark in the league, and define who he was as a great player, and he
Right.
achieved.
So when it comes to work ethic, and we're looking at the two. That's a great differential,
Yeah,
because, like you said, Jordan, the shoe was already out. The shoe had been out for
yeah,
years. He
commercial,
is Michael Jordan. This is a dream come true in a sense for you.
yeah,
Phenomenal. Like, whoa, like Michael Jackson. I'm
yeah,
Michael Jordan. You got
yeah,
to maintain your composure and step
yeah.
up to the plate. And so I don't care that you Jordan. You just
There you
another
go.
brother like me.
Yep, yep,
And then, like you say, Kobe, he's young, because Kobe never came out when we were having functions and going out. He was too young. I mean, he could have got in. We already know how that go. They don't care when
yeah,
they right, but he didn't. When we look at work ethic between the two, for you, you're in the middle of these two, so that's a great median.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
a great happy me. I take it any day, hands
yeah,
down.
yeah. Well, honestly, I think any player that gets to that level already has a work ethic. But you know, I'm a firm believer that God just he sprinkles a little extra on certain people. You know what I mean?
Hmm. Hmm.
Everybody ain't the same, and I can have talent and just say Michael has talent, but his talent is more defined in mine based on who he is. And
Right,
whatever he had to go through to achieve that talent, he's able to maximize it to a level that I have no ability to maximize. That's not taking away from my talent, but that's not saying that his talent is any greater than mine. His is just more defined than mine. So
right,
anybody to me that makes it to that level, you have to have a certain level of talent.
right,
Some people just had that little extra, that little gift that takes them to the next level. And he had it, Kobe had it, you know, Magic had it. That's why they call them superstars. So
superstars. Right. To
yeah,
me, you're a superstar. I don't care what nobody say.
well, I appreciate that.
Seriously, I don't care what nobody say. You a superstar to me. All that status is character.
Yeah, yeah,
So I'm saying between the two, the work ethic, and like you said, God does sprinkle certain things on individuals a little more than others, right?
yeah,
But when you have the opportunity to be in the place of a happy median
yeah,
between those two, you get a little bit of that sprinkle
yeah,
rubbed off on you. And
yeah.
so, what do you feel was help you? What kind of work ethic
I
from each one do you feel you part of their work ethic do you feel you grab to even make you push forward today with graduate and all that you're doing to go on in your career, right? Because I believe this: when we work around certain people, especially when it's leaders, I'm a firm believer you have to be a good follower to be a good leader. And like you
Mhm.
said, the sprinkling. So we take a bit of this like gumbo.
Yeah.
Here's the rule, here's this, here's that, and then we become. So that, yeah, that's kind of what I'm asking. Do you feel there was a bit of Michael Jordan, a bit of Kobe, or just Corey? Just Corey.
Um, it was my purpose.
Yeah.
I gotta break it down to that simple. Like ever since I got introduced to the game of basketball, of course I had the love for it. But when I think about it at each level, not only did I mature, I accepted the fact that I wasn't the best, but I loved the game so much it made me work on it. And then by me working on it, I was able to define who I was within this game and how I could be effective in this game. And I think that was my advantage of just playing the game of basketball is I knew my role. I knew what I brought to a team, and I knew what I not necessarily saying I had to be the leading scorer, but with my size and my athletic ability, I took it upon myself. The other things that I was good at will help me win at a high level.
Right,
And my
right,
confidence of being a vocal leader, not being afraid to voice my opinion, not in a negative way, but to encourage people.
right,
I think that's another advantage that helped me out, being a good teammate and understanding. I was blessed to meet Coach Sims because he's the one who let me know how important coaching was. My
right.
previous coaches or previous attempts that I had at playing basketball, I don't think no other coach that I had before that kind of laid out the discipline, the respect, and the admiration that was needed for a coach like Coach Sims did. So that made me respect coaching at that time.
When you say team player, team who taught you about team, when you talk about teammates, what does team player mean to you?
Team players understanding your role in a team unit and understanding what your role is to attain success on a team. So you got 5 players playing at one time. Everybody has a role that they need to perform and play at a high level in order to attain some success. For me, it was I knew just based off mentality, I hated for guys to score on me. I took that personal. I didn't give a damn if you was from a point guard to a 5 man. I hated guys to score on me, and that's how I define myself. Like, if anything, you're gonna know I'm gonna play some defense. I'm gonna get up in you. I'm gonna get low and try to guard you. I'm gonna block your shot. I'm gonna force you from your comfortable positions on the floor, and I got enjoyment out of that. So a lot of
Hmm.
people was like, "Well, man, you don't even try to score." That ain't what I like to do. I like to lock cats up. That's my role in basketball that I took upon
Right.
and wanted to be successful at. So
C-
because of that, I felt that dynamic can fit in any team, in any
Right.
team.
They say you developed a reliable mid range jump shot.
Yes. And the only reason I developed that is because my knees started bothering me and I couldn't dunk no more. So
Okay.
I started working
Career
on the shape.
career stats to this date: 2,287 points,
Yeah.
2,690 rebounds,
Yeah.
460 assists.
Yeah.
And you're in your where you've created your family, what
Yeah.
is now your hometown,
Yeah.
which is also your college town.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna take you back. Our time is going, but I might keep you over a little bit because this
That's
this
fine.
is good. Now, okay, thank you. This is what I want to say. I gotta get my little jokes in because we talked about this. So
Yeah.
this one,
Can't leave it out.
this what I gotta say. Growing up, when I say what's understood doesn't need to be explained. So I'm gonna ask you the same question when I say team player.
Yeah.
Looking at you, knowing the history, knowing some of your friends,
Yeah.
right? I respect also the camaraderie that still exists
Yeah.
within these sandbox friends,
Yeah.
right? So when we say team player and looking at that, we say friends, friendship. It can be good and it can be not so good,
Yeah.
right? It can be good and it can be not so good. Now, for me, right, looking at my life, looking at the way things are, looking at all of these things and the expectations that people have on others over themselves.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
did a video not too long ago. Where do y'all get the nerve? Where do y'all get the nerve to expect from other people what you don't even expect, right?
Yeah.
From yourself, and then the lack of respect that people will have for those who are pursuing their goals, dreams, and aspirations, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
The lack of respect when it comes to understanding that there are morals, principles, and values that we must adhere to and we must exhibit in life. There are policies and procedures, rules, regulations, and ethical codes of conduct that we must adhere to in life if we are to reach our goals, dreams, and aspirations, if we are to accomplish, regardless to how it starts. So you have maintained, friends. I'm going to ask this question. This is not me because I could care less. Because I tell you right now, and I hope everybody hear this. If you're from San Gabriel Valley, I don't care what part you're from. Listen, if I touch 10 million, 15 million, 20 million, if I don't know you, I'm not coming to the hood like that. There's nothing I can do for the hood that the hood is not doing for themselves. Okay, you
Yeah.
guys have already shown me. All right, shut up, Tim. I'm gonna keep that to myself. Okay, so I'm gonna say this right. So growing up, junior high, you're tall.
Yeah.
Now, like I say, knowing some of the friends, let's talk about the girls. Wifey, that, he's a great person. I know Corie was raised with respect. So we gonna talk because I love the fact that you're 26 years,
Yeah.
right? But growing up, because we gonna tell the truth and shame the devil.
No doubt.
Was it as easy for you to pull the girls as it was for some of your friends? Should I say some of their names? Because I could, but I'm not. But I'm just saying some of your sandbox, junior high, high school, especially Morovia High. Because Corey, you were tall. You know, right when you stuff like right, and then outside of that, like you say, your great grandmother raised you, and I remember you had to tend to your younger siblings a lot of
Yeah.
times.
Yeah.
You went to school, you went to your games, and a lot of times when the friends were going to the after effects of the games, you in fact had to go home, or should I say needed to go home so that you could attend to your siblings,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So now that you are there, looking at the life, the other side of being this NBA player, growing up in the other side of being an NBA player, was it as easy for you to pull the girls as it was for some of the others? Donnell, Steven, forget it. Trent, I'm gonna just say the names. I'm just say the name.
Man, hey, all my homeboys gonna swear to God they ladies, man. You know what I mean? And growing up during that era, I don't think none of them had no problems. You know, that's the good thing about it. We grew up in a small community that was not far from a large community. We can go to LA, we can go to Pasadena, we can go to Pomona, we can go outside of our community to find what we were looking for if necessary. But it was plenty enough in our neighborhood to keep us happy. I'm gonna put it like that. So at that time in them young age, man, we were all trying to sow our oats, as they say, and I don't see none of us having no problem doing
So
that.
it was so I mean, well, I guess because you're a star player on the team, you're so I guess maybe okay, maybe just because I'm looking at you like you know, but I was in the street, so
Man,
but I understand the
hey,
star players, right? I guess
yeah,
the star players make it easier for the homies. It's
yeah,
kind of like being in the NBA, and because a lot of them picked up the groupies that you
yeah,
push
but
back, because you
a
when
lot of time, my homies made it easier for me because they were more aggressive. You know what I mean?
exactly,
So that,
and that's what I'm saying. So they go to hook you up with somebody. She
yeah,
wasn't like, I mean, right? So
Yeah,
I'm just saying. So going from this place, going from this place, right? You know, you Corey, like you said, you had this blank air from high school to JC
yeah,
in terms of right. So looking at this space right here, and when I say the girls, the ones who didn't stay down and those type of things, because you met your wife in college,
yeah, yeah, definitely.
26 years
Yeah,
of marriage.
yeah,
You met your wife in college. Now that you're the NBA, I'm on Chicago Bulls, especially when you came to Lakers, came back home, people had access to you. Tell the truth. They was trying to give it, pulling at it, because I mean, they had to pull at the thigh side of your pants. They I don't
man,
know if
you
they could
yeah,
really rinse their waist.
hey, you done been to them parties, so I don't have
Yeah,
to say that.
I'm just saying.
Yeah,
I'm just saying, it goes back to people don't see, and I believe that's a hedge of protection in a sense,
it
right?
is
But
to
I'm
make you know
saying
that. Yeah, it is
it,
definitely.
it, it had to be somebody in high school that
Yeah,
you liked, that you really liked, that you wanted to, you could see yourself being with, you like, this is my girl, or I want him to be my girl, and they said, mm-mm, you don't have to say no names. I'm
yeah,
just saying, I
yeah,
know darn well when you came back to LA, they popped out because people was coming from all over. People who had moved out of state was coming from all over to
yeah,
the parties,
yeah,
right? So I know someone, whoever they are, I'm not saying no name, I'm just saying,
yeah.
they, hi, Corie. And you like,
Well, I mean, just me being who I am, it wasn't even them doing that. Now I felt I could do that. You know what I mean? I know the ones who I wanted back then. I feel now I should have no problem. It should be a smooth transition now. You know what I mean?
right. I'm
It
sure it
wasn't,
was. That's what I'm
wasn't
saying. It
trying to
was
put on them. It was more me pushing that envelope. Like, okay, maybe I didn't have what you need or didn't have the effect on you back then, but now can I try it now and see if anything's a little different? And sometime it worked and sometime it didn't.
what was that for, relationship or relations? Cause you know how
It
that
was
go
always
too. Sometimes you be like, yeah, back then didn't want me. Now I'm up. You all for me. However that song go.
for
You
me
know what I
reaching
mean?
back. It
You
was
gonna put
always
yourself in that situation. I'm gonna knock anyway. You know it ain't going nowhere. You know you ain't going home when this is all okay.
yeah. I mean,
You ain't got, you know how that saying go, you ain't got to go home, but you got to get the heck up out of here.
no, I can't speak for everybody. I can't speak for everybody, but the one I reached back for it was a relationship. I wasn't because if I was
Okay.
reaching back for you, I really,
It was
really,
like right,
I really
right,
liked you. You know what I mean?
right,
Especially anybody from our area, because
right, right.
I didn't have to reach back there at that time. I was all over I was in Cincinnati. I was in Santa Ana. So for me to go back and talk to somebody from where I grew up, I took that. I wasn't just
So
trying to hit and move on.
bless your soul for that. You have always been, and I have to say this, and this is the truth in my eyes, a very respectable person.
No, I appreciate
Someone that I really, when I see a man, right? Not
it.
like just a homie, not just a man. You, from the time I first met you back on Walnut, all of that, when I'm looking at my all this going on, right? You always to me had a different type of aura. You were always respectful. And I was bad.
Yeah.
I couldn't, and clown around and things of that
Hey,
nature.
that's
But
why
I'm just saying,
I had to celebrate your accomplishments because man, I know you ain't got to, you preaching to the choir.
right? So I'm like, and so when I say that, I'm just saying, in all truth and honesty, I've seen it in the industry. We know the groupies may not pop out then, but
Yeah,
then when they see success, they pop out. So when we look at today's society, when you look around and all this dating things, Kevin Samuels, when we spoke, Kevin Samuels coined this term, high value man and high value woman. And so you would certainly be someone who would be considered a high value man. right? And you have a lot of these women say, oh, I got this and I got that. And we know, I'm a woman, I know men really do not care about your accolades, your status, the money you make, things that most men don't, right?
Right.
And so you have a lot of these women saying this, that, and that. I wouldn't go on a coffee date. A man who takes me on a coffee date, that's low effort. They're not serious. They're not intentional. And so we briefly spoke about the situation with Steph Curry and Aisha Curry. And I was telling you how I covered the interview she did with Alex Cooper, because I felt people were dragging her through the mud, and the way they were looking at it was absolutely wrong. And the thing I love most is how she identified and defined her and Steph Curry's first date. That
Mhm.
being said, you being someone that a person will look at as a high value man, if you met your wife in college,
Yeah.
tell me about the meeting.
The meeting. So when I met her, she had a man at the time. And when I first
Oh,
started to holler at her, she gave me no action.
cool. Okay.
I'm
I
talking
was
about,
gonna be like, okay, go
I mean,
ahead.
she shut it down. Like, no, I'm not that type. I don't cheat on my man. So you wasting your time. She told me that a few times. So I moved on. Like, okay, well, I get it. And I had, I had played in this, I met her in the summer league. So the second year I came back to play in that same summer league. This is in college, my senior year. Going into it, I saw her friend, and she said, "Well, Nicole and so broke up." And I was like, "What?" Like, yeah, they ain't together no more. Like, man, that's all I need to hear. Then I told Nick, man, let me borrow your car, man. I'm about to drive up to Columbus. He's like, for what? Man, I'm going to see if I can catch Nicole. I heard she broke up with dude. He's like, for real? He's like, yeah, I'm about to. So I drove up there and went to her mom's house, and she's like, what you doing? I said, man, I heard you and old boy. She's like, are you serious? I'm like, yeah. So what's up? Can we go out and hang out? And she's like, well, I guess, you know what I mean. And she made me work for it. I guess that's probably what kind of turned me on to her more than anything. That she was just a serious person. Like
Mhm.
she kind of like, she got a little tomboyish in her, but she ain't no punk neither. You know what I mean? So
Right,
I think that's what kind of really let me know that that's who I at least wanted to try to make my girlfriend at the time, because what she did to me, she showed me that if she was with me, I ain't got to worry about her cheating with nobody else.
right. That the confidence, the security, she
Yeah,
gave you
because she
that.
showed me that when she was with dude. So
Right,
I
early on.
yeah, I took
So,
that as a
where
way.
was your first date?
Man, the first date I remember, we went to eat at a restaurant. Now I don't remember the restaurant, and the only reason I don't remember the restaurant because the first time I took her out, we got in a car crash, and I remember
Oh,
the car crash more than I remember the event that
dang,
took
of
place.
course, right,
Yeah,
because it sucks, right?
yeah.
Like, dang it, I'm trying to shoot my shot. I mean, what
But
could,
I was showing
oh,
off too. You know what I mean? Just
uh,
showing off, and I'm getting ready to bust this U-turn and didn't even look over my shoulder and smash. And so that's our most memorable. Like, you remember you tried to do this and you cried. Like, yeah, I remember that. So
yeah.
that's when it kind of
But
our
my thing is, it wasn't like Ruth Chris and Mastros and Flemings, like some great
no,
five star where you had to
had none of
spend
that.
500.
I ain't had none of that in my game back then, man.
Right.
Yeah,
So that's what I'm saying. When you see these things, you have a daughter,
yeah.
you have two kids, three kids. How
I
many
got
kids?
5 kids.
Five. Oh,
Yeah,
you've been putting in work. All
yeah.
of
Two
the work.
boys and
No, I'm
two
just kidding.
girls.
Two boys,
three
three
boys, three
three
boys.
boys, two girls.
Yeah,
Your girls are, you don't mind me asking, how old?
23 and 20.
Okay. Your dad, so two questions. What would you tell your, I'm going to start with the young ladies.
Yeah,
What would you tell your daughters as it relates to dating in this generation? Because this is what I'm saying. This generation right now, I mean, we had gold diggers absolutely back in our day, right? Gold
yeah,
diggers were frowned upon.
yeah.
It was a difference between wanting a man who could provide, wanting a man who had it going on, balling, as we called it back in the day. It was something totally different to be a gold digger. And gold diggers were frowned upon. Would you or would you not agree?
What? Yeah, 1,000. Definitely agree.
However, today, it's like gold digger, right. And I'm like, you guys are superficial.
Yeah.
The same dude can pull up on you in a Honda Accord, and you'll shoot him down. Turn, he can bend a corner, come back in a Bentley, and you'll give him play because you're not paying attention. So, what would you tell your daughters? And then when women say, "I can't go on a coffee date," if your daughter, 23, 20 years old, 23, I'll say 23-year-old, comes to you and say, "Dad, I met this guy. He's cool. He wants to take me on a coffee date. We're gonna make our first date a coffee date." Would you agree or disagree with her going? Would you feel like he's not intentional? What would your advice be to her?
Yeah, my advice would definitely be if you've met this guy and you feel that you are comfortable enough to go out on a date with him, you just make sure that you do it in a way where you're in a place where there's definitely people, where you're not alone until you actually get to know this guy. But don't go nowhere to his house or trying to be intimate with him on the. We're talking first dates too, so carry yourself like I would. I've I've thought I've done a good job of raising my daughters and showing them that they have respect and they're beautiful girls. So I,
Right.
I don't think they really need to rely on a man to tell them that. But I know it's appreciated if someone besides myself does it. But I made it an overstatement for me to express how beautiful my daughters are to me
Absolutely.
and
Absolutely.
how they carry themselves. And based on what I've experienced with my daughters so far, I'm very proud of how my daughters conduct themselves.
Themselves.
Yeah.
I have granddaughters, 16 and 13, and then one is going to be 4. And I look at them, they're beautiful. I cry at times thinking about how God is keeping them in their youth. They're certainly not in the place I was, not even close.
Yeah,
Like,
definitely.
not even close, right? 8 avid students since they've been in kindergarten. I'm talking about honor roll their whole, and I just look and say thank you. So that's what I'm asking then. You wouldn't oppose, you wouldn't say to your daughter, a coffee date is no, no. In fact, a coffee date would probably be an ideal prime first date to go to.
Yeah, honestly, T, where my daughters grew up at, that'll probably be where they would get taken first based on this community. They probably go to a
See?
coffee shop or something like that.
You see, and
Yeah,
I'm like, this is the most superficial, shallow.
yeah,
It's crazy, but I just wanted to know because you have girls, they're in that age range of today. You're again, especially where you are, definitely considered high value and things of this nature. Now,
yeah,
26 years of marriage, beautiful. I love that for you. I love tomorrow makes 29 years since I lost Kevin. And I look, the 28th of December would have been, let me see, Duran is 37, I don't know, 30, like 30 something years,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
When I see people reach that 26 and that 30 mark, it is so awesome. And so it really is kind of disheartening when you see today's generation is like, we're not in it for death to us part. It's like, what are you guys in it for? I
yeah,
don't know. I'm gonna take a turn now because in my research, and we'll wrap it up, and I'm not gonna close here, but I want to
yeah,
bring this up because this was funny, and we're gonna talk about graduate because I definitely want to get that in
yeah.
before we leave. I
Okay.
don't want to bring this up, but I do want to bring this up because I want to know, you have all these great accomplishments. You come out the NBA from Toronto Raptors 2004. You retire.
Yeah,
Here comes 2008 in the BS. Now, I want to know, did the judge really tell you Cheech and Chong would have had a hard time smoking that much bud? And did you really say it was for personal use?
man. I said it was a personal use for a party. It wasn't
Oh,
just for
okay,
me.
okay, okay, okay.
I was having
Party.
a party. Yeah, and I
Right.
told him that like I own the club. You know what I mean? So
And
at
do
that
you still own the club? Because I heard you were co-owner of a club.
No, no, no. I was co-owner. I don't own any clubs anymore. I was co-owner of a pizza place here in and just sold that too. So no, I'm not a police
Okay.
anymore.
Okay.
But yeah, that whole incident was more so just it was a relationship that I had with someone who had access to getting a lot of weed, and we was, I don't remember what we, that was 2008. I don't know if it was because I had graduated or something, but we was getting ready to party. You know what I mean? Celebrate.
So you did go back to college and get your degree?
Oh, of course, yeah,
You did, and I was going to ask you that earlier.
yeah,
See, Grandma, he made you proud.
yeah,
That's
no
right,
doubt,
Corie.
no doubt, yeah, no doubt, yeah.
Big ups to you for that. And you get one of these too, because I think that's so awesome. Oh, let me give it. Awesome. Okay. So, I mean, I'm looking at this, and it kind of what perturbed me, it kind of irritated me, right? Because at this point, you're established. You touched a few bands. It's not beneath you, right? Or
Yeah,
above you, should I say, beneath or above you, right? To have $34,000 cash or $26,000 cash. Like
nah.
at that point, this is like nothing. Hello, right? Or to have a Benz in it. Why did they confiscate the? That's what I didn't understand.
Yeah, that was just part of the game, man. The thing about that, and I'm being perfectly honest, that money that they found was in a safe, and I had just withdrew all that cash from the bank. None of that money had touched no. It was just money I got out the bank. Still had the bank receipt on it, but the fact that they had found the weed, that gave them the authority to say that the dog alerted to it because it smelt like
Liars.
drug money, and
And
that
in
was
a
part of.
small town like it's Hamilton,
Yeah, Butler County. Yeah, yeah. So that was
yeah,
part of
they
my
want the
plea
money.
deal.
Oh my. Okay, go ahead. I'm
Yeah,
listening.
that was part of my plea deal. Like, man, to give up the money and the cars to keep me out from doing 5 or 6 years. I'm like, man, y'all can have it. What's
Uh,
next?
uh,
Because I knew I wasn't guilty of
mm,
selling. I wasn't guilty of transporting or selling any weed. I was just guilty of possession, and I knew that. I had got
right.
my everybody like, man, you got caught. People don't know you got caught all that weed. And you only did a year. I said, because I knew what I was guilty of. They couldn't
A
try to.
year for possession is too much, but it's about the quantity that right that
Right.
it was correct.
Correct. Correct.
Okay.
Correct. But it wasn't no transporting. It wasn't no, solicitate, none of that selling or anything. That was just possession. Yeah.
Right. Like I said, if you don't mind, I want to read this, okay?
Yeah.
If
Go ahead.
it's
Go
okay.
ahead. Yeah.
Blum was arrested on December 5th, 2008, for possession of 29 pounds of marijuana in the suburban Cincinnati, Ohio town of Hamilton. According to police reports, Blunt received a package of 11 pounds of marijuana and transported it to another house that contained another 11 pounds of marijuana. That's 22 pounds. But anyway, deputies also found another, 7 pounds of marijuana and confiscated a 1996 Mercedes Benz, a 2004 Cadillac Escalade, and a 2000 Chevrolet Suburban, three pew pews, and 29,500 in cash. Blunt was charged with felony drug possession and was released on a $10,000 bond. On April 3rd, 2009, Blunt pleaded guilty to two felony possession charges and a deal to avoid trafficking charges. He was sentenced May 13, 2009 to 1 year in prison. He was also fined 10,000 in order to surrender 34,000 in cash, as well as two vehicles seized in the bus. He told the judge that it was all for personal use, prompting the judge to reply, Cheech and Chong would have had a hard time smoking that much herb. I
Yep.
read that because I want to say this. I have you here. I know how the law can be. And I know how the law can be when we talk about small towns like that. When
Mm-hmm.
you talk about money, listen, I'm a woman of God. I don't believe in partiality. When it comes to God, color doesn't matter. When it comes to these worldly laws, it absolutely does. So
Right.
now, you're in a town, Ohio.
Yep.
You got a name for yourself. They know this, right?
Yep.
And you're a black man, right? How
Yep.
much of what I just read is true and how much of it is false?
About, well, everything you read was true as far as them taking what they took and me having the weed. Yeah, that's
So
true.
was it 29 pounds?
It was 20. You know what, T? I don't. If they said it was 29, I couldn't even argue because I never even looked at the boxes. I never even looked in the boxes.
Right, because they're saying
Only
it was
reason
11 pounds here. So this is what I want to know.
yeah,
How did what probable cause did they even have to engage you? Like a package was delivered or something to that effect?
it was delivered. I owned like 6 properties at that time, and
Okay.
this was delivered to one of my properties. It wasn't delivered to my house. It was delivered to one of my properties. And when it was delivered, I got a call saying that there's a package that whoever brought it said it was there for me. So when I went to go pick it up, it didn't even have my name on it. See, that's where the trick bag came in at. It didn't even have
Hmm.
my name on it. So that was one of the
But
discrepancies.
you had to go to the post office and pick it up.
No, I had to go to
Okay,
I
to
had to
the
go to
house and pick it. Okay, got
yeah,
you. Hmm.
I had to go to the house and pick it up. So that was one of the discrepancies why they really couldn't tie me into transporting because
Excuse
I
me.
didn't even it didn't even have my name on it.
Right.
So what I
Excuse
did,
me.
oh go ahead. Yeah,
No, go ahead.
when I did pick it up, I went home and they followed me to my house. So now that's when they knew the package that was had came in the mail, and then they found the 6 or 7, I think it was about 6 pounds that I had at my house, and tied them all together at that point. So that's how that,
Well,
you know. And
I
I
just
refused to tell them, I refused. I just didn't cooperate with them. So they said, well, since you don't know nobody's name, it's yours. So that was the reality of it.
favor. Glory to God, and I always say God knows our heart.
Right.
He knows the truth of the situation. I'm glad that I'm not glad that you ever even went through that period point blank. But it also serves as to as testament to say, as we grow professionally, as we grow as people, it is important to a certain degree for us to cut certain ties and not engage in certain activity. And it's important for us to have people around us who understand that, which goes back to what I was saying earlier in terms of the morals, the principles, the values, rules, regulations, and etc.
Yeah.
Right? I know for me at this point in time in my life, and I make it clear, right? 18 months, excuse me, 19 months. I no, I don't know. I'm not going around no drugs. I don't want. I don't know. No, no.
Yeah.
You understand? And as I grow, I don't want to and evolve and take on other journeys in life, especially when it comes to productivity, and especially when I'm talking about sponsorships and doing business like this with people such as you, other people, organizations. Right? I
Yeah.
cannot be affiliated with certain things. So if that means I can't be affiliated with certain individuals because they are affiliated with certain things and they don't want to respect this boundary, this standard that I have to live by, they're still welcome in my space. But I cannot subject myself to your space because your space, the risk outweighs the benefit, and in business that's not good business, and I'm
Right.
not willing to risk that, right?
Yeah.
So I don't it's unfortunate that you went through that. The fortunate thing is I'm glad that you did have favor in that situation. I'm glad that you did not end up in prison. Did you go to jail, or is that just did you
No,
do
I,
no
I
you
did. I did a year and 2 days in prison.
real prison,
Yeah.
or county jail out there in
No,
prison?
I went to prison. I was in CRC. Like, yeah, I was in
um
prison. Yeah,
for 1 whole year,
for one whole year. Yep.
and
Yeah.
your wife stayed 10 toes.
Man, it was a blessing. It was. I'm gonna count it. I'm gonna count it as a blessing for me because at that time I want to say I was living reckless, but I was just doing too much. You know what I
Yep,
mean?
yep,
And God
that's
has
how
a way
God
of saying, I've been trying to tell you to slow down. Now let me show you you need to slow down.
God
And I
show.
received it. You know what I mean? I didn't
Right.
fight it. I received it. And I never forget when the judge told me he was sending me to a year. The first thing I thought about was the fact that um, that messed up the reputation of my family, my kids and my wife and my university and my community. I valued
Exactly.
who I was even in Monrovia and Duarte. And
Right.
I thought about all that, like, man, here I done achieved all this, and to get caught up like this, to kind of tarnish everything I worked on. I enjoy being a role model and inspiration for kids in our community. I would come back and do things and when that happened, it really opened my eyes, because the people who I thought was gonna be like, man, we know that ain't Corey's character. We know that ain't who. It's got to be something to this. I saw some of the opposite, and that shook me up. Like, people who I thought would be riding for me end up use that time to throw darts and throw rocks at my windows and stuff like that. So I said, you know what, I get it, man, and that's why I say it humbled me in a way where that year when that judge sends me, I'm standing there and he told me that. I said, okay, you're gonna take me away from my family and my friends and everything. I'm gonna make y'all pay for my education. Point blank. That was my mindset. Like, I'm gonna make them pay for my education. And in that year, I read more than I ever read. I
Mhm.
studied more than I ever read. I took
Mhm.
business class. I read the Bible deeper than I ever read it
Ever.
before.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
that's what I heard the preachers and all these other people give me their interpretations of what the Bible meant, how I was able to dig into it and find what I needed out of it.
Yep. Yep.
And
Yep.
man, when that happened, man, I came home a new man. I
Yep.
came home with somebody understanding what my life was all about, who I need to associate myself with, and who I know I need to show appreciation to and thanks.
Mhm.
Yeah, and
Mhm.
it redefined me as a person.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Glory to God.
Yeah, no
Glory, glory,
question.
glory to God. I don't think a lot of time. I know for me, right? When I took my stint and went and sat down 19 months, it absolutely was life changing, and it
Yeah,
saved my life, because at that point I was at a breakdown, and I could have took somebody out and wouldn't have thought twice about it. And that's scary to think, like, dang, you really could have, and I agree. I'm glad that I went in like you with the word, because I
yeah.
know you had a relationship with God,
Oh, question. No,
right?
I grew up in the church. So.
Yeah. So I'm glad I went in with the Lord, and so you went in with God, and that is what led you to God, and so let me draw closer. And so the Holy Spirit was able to come in and really speak a word of Rama, speak directly to you, and
Most
make
definitely.
everything else, all the preaching and the teaching that you've heard, make sense, because now I'm interconnected. This is just me in you. No
Yeah.
outside noise, no
Yeah.
outside influence. And so I say that to say, again, when we look at that and we grow, especially in that way, and we allow the change to come, because the word says, do not conform to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. And you
Mhm.
had all these great accomplishments, but now you're conforming to the ways of the world. Now you've got caught up. But God, and He came in, and now you're transformed. And
Yeah.
so change and transformation is different, right? So now when you transform, there's no way you can continue to engage and straddle the fence and deal with people who do not respect where you are and where you are going,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
isn't it amazing how God will magnify the haters to us?
Openly.
You
Open.
know, I
Yeah.
was thinking the other day, and we'll go on to graduate. Thank you for your time for extending. But I was thinking the other day how the Bible says He will make your enemies your footstool, right? And how He will prepare a table for you in the presence of your enemies. And it was just dropped on me like, God, we always think, oh, you talking about people close to us, right?
Hmm.
Because how can my enemy be my footstool and he way over there? I won't even let him come over here.
Yeah.
How can it take? Oh, you talking about the people
Yeah.
that we love, that we engage, that we can't see? You know the heart of it.
Man. Yeah.
And he raises you above, and so glory to God that you are able to take that situation and now make it part of your testimony.
No question.
Thankfully, it didn't put you in the mud, but it actually, in a lot of ways, has now grown you up, because now you have these awesome testimony, Corey. I mean, I knew you, but just to hear the fullness of the testimony
Yeah.
from the college, the mentorship, even coming into that situation to what you're doing now,
Yeah.
I commend you. I'm thankful for you. And I know you use this. I'm sure you mentor outside of your three boys, and
Yep.
this is testimony for you, right?
Yep. Yep. Yeah.
Right.
It's definitely a testimony, and that's because of that incident. It kind of gave me it answered all the questions I had about my life. Because that was
Hmm.
one time, that period of time where I was able to focus on me. I
Hmm.
was always worried about other people and trying to take care of other people, but that year gave me a chance to dig into who I was and what purpose God had for me. And I tell everybody, people that know me, man, my favorite verse in the Bible is Hosea 4:6. My people are persecuted for lack of knowledge.
Now, woo, wait,
Um,
and it's so true.
yeah. So that just woke me
People
up.
do not you know what they say, especially about us, right? If
Yeah.
you put it in a book,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
put it in a book if you don't want. And I say that our people perish for a lack of knowledge, and I'm talking about real knowledge. When we talk about sound doctrine, not just
Knowledge of
biblical
self.
sound
Knowledge
doctrine,
of self.
self first,
Yeah.
because I say this and I say it on the podcast all the time. When get in the word so the word can get in you, because
Yeah.
the first thing God does when you get in the word is He shows you you.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
He shows you you. He shows you all the ugly parts of you first.
Yeah.
And
No.
then he, goes in there. I just love the Lord. He cleans it. He
Yeah.
cleans you up inside out, right?
Yeah.
So you are now. We see the graduate. You and Stephen have been working on the graduate, and so with graduate, you do still do some things with Morovia High, correct?
I haven't done anything with Monrovia High, but that's back in the plans.
Okay,
We've been really trying to define this brand through research and development and trial and
trial
error.
and error.
You know what I mean? Because we didn't want to just make it like a fad. We want to make we're our goal is to make something that's going to be generationally relevant.
Mm-hmm.
And one
Mm-hmm.
thing we do know that every year someone's either attempting to graduate or graduating.
Mm-hmm.
We want to be that brand that wanted to be that brand that kind of put emphasis on that message and being able to resonate well with people who value education, who are
Right.
who
Right.
are seeking that knowledge and being able to find out the final messages to hopefully complete whatever journey you're on. And we want to be there to
Right.
reward you and acknowledge you for that. So
Right.
that's what it's been for us. We've been strategically partnering and researching and developing core products and core relationships with institutions. And so once we get ready to roll it out, and I think we're here now, you'll be
Mm-hmm.
able to see some of the reasons why we've been slowly walking this brand out the way we have.
Right. Well, I'm glad to know that it is still in the works.
Yeah, you were
I'm
one of our
glad.
first test subjects, whether
Yeah,
you know it or not.
like I say, let me show you something. I sent this to Stephen, and it may not show on here as big, but from this day forward, I consider Graduate my sponsorship partner,
Oh yeah, yeah.
right? And we'll keep, because, like I said, graduating from college, especially with my math. I'm looking forward to my doctorate lapel pin. Because let me tell you that I do plan on going back for social psychology. I want to get my doctorate in social psychology.
Okay.
And so, yeah, I'm
Right, but let me say this because I think this is important. It's two things I want to say first
go ahead.
because growing up the way we grew up, we lost a lot of dear friends and important people in our lives due to
Mm-hmm.
drugs or gang banging or whatever the case may be. And when I think back to the time where, and I'm gonna just use two of my friends, Irvy Barnes and Sanders Rollins, Sandy.
Mm-hmm.
I lost them two guys. Those two of my friends were very integral in my life when I lost.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't get no counseling. I didn't have nobody to talk to. I just had to move on with my life and try to endure that pain the way I can only endure it the
Mm-hmm.
only way I knew how.
Yeah.
That, to me, that was like a milestone when I thought about it, like, because I wanted those two definitely to be on this ride with me. And
Right.
of course,
Right.
all my homies from Walnut was part of it, but those were two other guys that I had a genuine love and respect for from day one, and for them to get taken out the way they did, it hurt me.
Mm-hmm.
It changed my perspective on a lot of
Mm-hmm.
things. And so when you're thinking about that, how do you continue to live on and then be able to hopefully represent the fact that you had those type of people in your life and they're not here no more. And I think it's just achievement based. I try to achieve things that I hopefully, if they're looking down, that they can say, man,
Mhm.
look at Blunt. Look how Blunt
Yeah.
turned. They know the stuff we used to do. They knew the
Right.
things we went through, but dang, he's still representing. And
Right.
so to me, that's when I saw you. I don't know how I found out you was getting your master's, and I'm like, T? Not T, not the T. It can't be. I think I called or something. You like, yeah. I said, oh, well, we getting ready to take care of you. You ain't got to
Yeah.
worry. What you want? You're like, well, I want to be able to get a shirt. I said, man, we gonna lay you out. Trust me,
Yeah.
because I understand.
Yeah,
Like I
I
truly
appreciate
understand.
it. Yeah. And
Yeah,
I agree when you say what you just said about looking to accomplish. That was one of the things that drove me into music because Kevin Snag had a very distinguished voice and he could rap. He
yeah,
freestyled his whole verse. He was dope. And we
yeah,
would ride around and rap and things like that. And I believe when I looked and prayed about it and I started going in the direction of doing music, nobody knows. I've never even told my kids this, right? Is I really wanted to keep him alive. I
hmm,
wanted to keep him alive. And so that was one of the things that led me into doing music. With that being said, people, here is fun fact number two. Stephen Barry was the first person to take me to a recording studio. Stephen Barry, also known as Two Scoops, was the first person to take me to a recording studio. So I agree and thank you. And again, graduate for me is definitely a part of me, is definitely family. It meant so much to me. Like I said, it was a great thing. I was determined to walk because in my undergrad, I was transitioning from Georgia back out here. So I
yeah,
didn't get to do my commencement. So my master's, yeah, and I was determined to graduate with honors. I had a class in my undergrad, and this one teacher, I think he was prejudiced, and I got an F, and I was pissed. And
yeah,
so I still, got my degree. I was able to fix that F and get a C, right?
yeah,
Turn it
yeah,
around. But in my master's, I was determined. I said I want to graduate with honors, and at least I was determined to make my grades better. And I was like, at least if I don't, I know I'll graduate with better grades, A's and B's. I got one C, Corie.
mm,
When I thought that C was going to cost me honors, and I didn't know, and I was okay with it though
yeah,
because my GPA was cool.
mm,
A's, B's, right?
yeah,
And so when I went to do check in, and they were like, "Oh, we see you. You pulled my car. We see you're graduating with honor." I was like, "What?" And so those tassels, and like I said, the greatest part for me was kind of being a face in a sense for graduate, an example, I guess I could say,
yeah,
having my lapel, having my t-shirt, it really, really was. And I appreciate you for that. I appreciate your team, Stephen, for making sure I got everything because yes, coming from where I come from, right, that meant like a lot to me. Like they see this, they recognize it. This is what it's about. When
yeah.
I speak about mentorship in that program. So let me show you this. 'Cause like I said, from here on out, this is my partnership. I did this. It may not come out as big, but I sent it to Steven and I was like, here we go. Graduate apparel, you guys.
Beyond the merch, Gradu8 supports education, providing college scholarships, collaborating with schools and organizations, powering fundraisers, engaging students on why learning matters, and inspiring personal.
So I put this together real quick and I want to run
Yeah,
it back, right? And so
yeah,
I don't know if he probably didn't share that with you,
yeah.
but I wanted to share it
Yeah,
with
that's what
you.
it's about, though. That's
So
really what it's all about.
yeah, I'm going to be putting together another clip and working it out. I'm working out my AI right now in terms of getting my subscriptions and everything done so I can run these things and not have the watermarks in them. But I definitely will be running that on my show from
Okay.
time to time. I wanted to run it today. Tell us the 8 steps of graduate.
Well, it's from the pre-K all the way to the doctor's degree. That's the thing. We acknowledge every level of education, and that's the thing we were thinking. Like, a lot of people don't value the fact that they graduated from elementary school no more, or junior high school no more, or getting their AA degree no more. It's like those are milestones.
Stones. Mhm.
Just even when you start preschool and going to the next level, first grade, you've completed something. And a lot
Mhm.
of times, I don't think, rarely do they hold a kid back in preschool. But if you're not doing what you're supposed to do in the first, well, I think it's done changed now because No Child Left Behind came in. But if you weren't doing the bare necessities to be able to go to the next grade, they would hold you back.
Mhm.
So, so that's one. Man, let's make everybody feel every level that you complete, man. Let's acknowledge them for that some kind of way. And that's
Mhm.
how we came up with the 8 steps to acknowledge every level from the pre-K to the doctor's degree. Man, feel good about your accomplishment, feel good about you are part of this educational journey, and don't be afraid to feel good that you here in America taking advantage of this educational system. You know,
Right. Right.
as an athlete, I always said, man, here I am. It didn't hit me until I got to the University of Cincinnati, where when I first came to Cincinnati, the gym held 13,575. That was the total maximum capacity when the gym was full. When we first got here, it was like 8,000 showing up at the game. But when we started winning, we sold that joke out every night. So I'm like,
Mhm.
well, here I am raising, helping. I'm getting my degree from this joker. They gonna use me. I'm gonna use them. So
Right.
that's what, to me, the value. That's when education really like made real sense to me. Like, man, here I am sacrificing my body, running up and down this court. I got all these people cheering from me, and it always reflected back to what my great grandmother said. There you go, you're getting celebrated for your feet. Your feet is bringing all this achievement to you. What your brain gonna do? And that was the only way I could prove that I had the ability to use my brain, and that was for me to get my degree. And I'm like you, when I walked across that stage, man, you talking about something that I broke down, you know.
Mhm. Excuse
And,
me. Yep.
and people in
Mhm.
my community, they used to trip because I wore my cap and gown for 3 days straight. I'd
Mhm.
be all at Kroger. They be like, "They go blunt again." I had my cap and gown on, and I'm long too, so everybody saw
Right.
my long. But they're like, "Man, you proud, huh?" I'm like, "Man, come on, man, I did this." And
Uh,
so they started even supporting me with that. Like, so that's, to me, that's how
yeah.
education should
I'm
feel.
I'm framing mine. I did the hat decoration. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
framing mine. I'm
yeah,
gonna take it to either hobby somewhere. I'm gonna get it put in a custom frame, my cap and gown.
yeah, yeah.
With
And
my
it
degree and
deserves
my tassel.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
deserves that. You did that. Didn't nobody
yeah,
give that to you. You earned that.
yeah. And people, you know what I find? People will try to downplay education. And I'm like, I get it though. You don't work in the field that you went to school in. Most people don't. But I will say this. When they say no one can take the knowledge from you, they can.
Yeah.
It
No.
taught me so much more.
Yeah.
So much was confirmed in me about my abilities, my natural talents, my gifts by going to school. I remember when I did my negotiations class,
Yeah.
my instructor was like, You're a natural at this." When I
Yeah.
did my communications class and I had to
Yeah.
stand in front of classes and do presentations, and they were like, "You're a natural.
Yeah.
This understanding writing, and my master's understanding the proper citing, proper referencing, understanding how to do research.
Yeah.
See,
Yeah.
you know how to do the research,
Yeah.
primary research,
Yeah.
your own research. You know how to do the surveys, put the research together, and come up with the analytics. Look at the numbers, the analytics, and look at the numbers and understand your demographics and your geographics and all those things that need to be compounded to become a successful business, a successful brand, right?
Yeah.
And so people will try to downplay it. And I notice it's a lot of people who probably they take information, they may read or they may watch something and grasp some information from that, but they're not really in the book.
Right.
They
Right.
will take what someone told them and make it as talking points. And then when they get frustrated when they come around someone who really gets in the book,
Mm-hmm.
because we can know the difference. So I commend you on that. I'm glad you did go back to college and get your degree,
Yeah.
so great grandma can look up
Mm.
and look down, look up. I always say heaven and say I'm proud. He did it all the way around. I
Yeah.
commend you for that again. You've always to me been a respectful person. Now, are your kids as tall as you?
My daughters are 6'2". They're not that tall. My
They
son,
not that.
yeah, that's what everybody said.
Corey, I'm
They're not
five
that tall to me.
two. I'm 5'2", 6'2".
Yeah,
You
both
know
of
my
them are
niece
6'2".
Taisha Fluker, right? She played right?
Yeah,
Taisha, she I have another niece, Shannon, that's playing overseas, whatever that looks like when you got, they're tall.
yeah,
Dude, I went to my niece Shannon's high school graduation. And I had on heels like this high.
yeah,
And I'm still like this much shorter than, like, come on, for 6'2", Corey. I think
yeah,
Shannon is about that. Hey, dude, that man, I'm 5'2".
yeah, yeah. No, well, they're tall for girls, I guess.
Are
They're
they
not
playing
tall.
basketball?
One is playing basketball. She just transferred she was at College of Charleston last year, and she jumped in the transfer portal. Now she's at Taylor College in Indiana. And
Okay.
then my
And
my oldest
goes,
daughter, she played volleyball.
oh, I like volleyball. My niece is playing volleyball
Yeah.
too. And the boys?
The boy, my oldest son, he's in Seattle. He works for a logistics company in Seattle. And then my
Okay.
second oldest son is here with me in Cincinnati. He graduated from the University of Cincinnati.
Oh, okay. So alma mater. Yeah, oh, that's
And
what's
my
up.
daughter graduated
Hey.
from the University of Cincinnati too.
Oh, that deserves yeah. Three generations. And
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Now imagine if you would have went to school. Just God just has a way of working everything out.
yeah,
He has a way. I believe that when we look at certain things, and again, referring back to Aisha Curry when she said, I didn't see myself as being a wife. She was basically like you said. I didn't see myself as Cincinnati. I
yeah,
didn't. None of where you are right now did you see if it were up to you and where you envisioned going to school and things going right.
of course not.
But look where you are. You're
Yeah,
you're a pillar in your community, not just in the community that you were born and raised in, but I'm saying where God put you, being submissive to what His will, right,
hmm,
and what He wants you to do. Again, I commend you for that. Well, not 3 generations, but 2 generations. But you have yourself and 2 children, definitely a
Oh,
pillar.
and my don't forget my wife. She got her doctorates from the University of
Oh,
Cincinnati.
wait, I need to meet wifey. Wifey need to, okay. See, I'm gonna be calling you. I won't blow you up, I promise. But so what does she do? What is her doctorate in?
She had her doctorate in business. She is the administrative director for the board at the University of Cincinnati.
Y'all just got the Corey, man,
Yeah, we we
dude.
we we
I
keep.
can clap you all day long because the
Yeah,
story just gets better and better.
yeah.
Phenomenal. I look forward to coming to Cincinnati. I pray I get the chance to meet your wife. I look
No,
forward to
definitely.
coming to Cincinnati. I would love to come to the college and speak to
Okay.
some of the graduates. I know it's not my alma mater, but to do some things there in the community. I'm so sincere about that. I'm looking forward to 2026 and being able to move around. And one of the things I want to do in True Dialogue, I have some young men I'll be interviewing. One is going to school to be a social worker in psychology, the other is a lawyer. And I'm
Okay.
going to be there 20 and 21, and I'm interviewing them because, it's not rap, it's not sports, but they're going to do some professional things. And so I want kids to know, like your daughters, your kids, they're your son, right?
Yeah.
Dad's Corey. He could have been this, but he chose to be something different, right?
Yeah.
And it's still going to be profitable, and it's still going to lead to him having a solid foundation in life.
Yeah.
Once again, I want to thank you. Like I said, Nicole, his wife, is that my
Yep.
sister's
Yep.
name? Hi,
Yep.
Nicole, sister. I mean, doctor. Hey, I'm serious. That is so inspirational. Just sitting
Yeah.
down talking to you. You gave me a lot more time than I anticipated, but it was good, and I sincerely appreciate it. You have a wonderful story.
Well, thank you.
You
Thank you.
you you have a wonderful story, and I'm glad you followed the Lord, because what I was saying is I believe when He does certain things, it is a hedge of protection,
Yeah.
and I believe He sees what we don't see.
Yeah. Well,
He knew what the outcome would be if you stayed local. And when I say local, California, Vegas, Arizona, he knew what the outcome would be, Corey, if you stayed local.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I still enjoy coming home. I just don't like how much things are in California. You know, the gas is high, the food is high, entertainment is high. So
How much is gas in Cincinnati?
right now it's 239,
My goodness.
and we complaining about that. Like, when the hell gas get 239 around here? So I know
So
it's like
you
$4.
you you work at the you work with the school. Two kids graduated from the school. Your wife is wow. That you are a true pillar in your community.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
Five kids,
yeah,
26 years of marriage,
yeah,
one woman, no kids outside. No, I'm not knocking nobody. I'm just saying
yeah,
it goes be. You have the graduate program. I love the hat, right?
yeah.
And I've seen that logo, and I never knew it was
Cincinnati.
affiliated with you. No. And
Yeah,
you said it's called the C
it's the CPAW. It's the CPAW.
CPAW,
It's the logo for the university. So yeah.
but it's so fitting for you. Y'all gonna partner up. God is not done with you yet. In fact, He is just getting started. Great things are going to be happening soon. Again, very soon. You continue to do what you're doing. I sincerely appreciate you. I will be in touch because I'm gonna come to Cincinnati. I want to come to Cincinnati, look at the college, and just go through a walkthrough.
Well, now that I know you in public speaking, I'm partner and on the board of a organization called Champs here too, where we look for speakers to come in. So I'll let them know that I have someone that can come speak. It's a youth mentoring program
Oh
too.
yeah, that's
We'll
right.
definitely have you come bless some young ladies with some knowledge and stuff.
So let me say this to you. Absolutely, public speaking is my thing. I'm not only a public speaker, I'm a triple crown Toastmaster.
Okay,
Okay, so I'm one step away from distinguished.
that went over my head, but okay.
So if you know who Les Brown is, and
Yeah,
and
yeah.
and so he's distinguished. Tony Robbins.
Okay,
Tony Robbins' whole public speaking program
okay,
is built on Toastmasters.
okay,
Toastmasters is the largest leadership and uh, communications club in the world,
okay.
right? And so I have two first place trophies and the second place trophies from winning the speech contest,
All
all
right.
part of my development, process. So I'm so grateful, Corey. Yeah, I got God worked it out, and
Yeah.
I'm so grateful. So definitely keep me on your mind when it comes to public speaking and mentoring young women in particular. That is where I believe 2026 is going to just open the floodgates for me to go in and do the Lord's work to really make a difference, because that's all we want when we're in the place that I was in, is somebody who can really resonate and relate to us, who's willing to tell the story and say, hey, I see you, and you can get it done.
Well,
So
all I'm
yeah.
asking, when I start my podcast, I'm gonna call and have you on my podcast. So just return the favor. That's all.
That I will be here, hands down. You don't even have to with bells on. You already know. You already know. I appreciate you
All
again.
right, T.
I mean, you gave me so much of your time. I don't. I'm gonna have to buy you lunch. What you eat?
Man, you don't have to buy me nothing.
No,
Shit.
I gotta buy you lunch. I'm coming to Cincinnati though. Bet you in
Come,
2026 I'll be there sooner than later.
come
I
on.
know what to do, and I gotta buy you lunch or something. I have to do something for you. You a
Nah,
big guy. You need to eat.
I
I'm
appreciate talking to you, man. It's been a while, and this is just a
yes,
way to catch us up on each other's lives, and this is a good thing you're doing. I watched
yes.
some of the
Thank
other
you.
interviews, so keep doing you. And if
Well,
you need
thank
me for
you.
anything, don't hesitate to call.
No, I'm just like I say, I'm here for your support as well. I love what you're doing, and the same goes out to you. I'm
All
here if you guys need me, Steven. Anything I can do with the brand. Like I said, I made that clip because I wanted to. I'll be working on some other things. Anything, I'm here too. Thank you again, my homie, my friend, my family, former NBA player, Mr. Corie Blount has given True Dialogue podcast. I told you guys this would be a great exclusive, not 1 but 2 hours of his precious busy time. I love you in the Lord.
right.
Family of overcomers, give Mr. Blount a round of applause on the outro. All right. You all have been tuned into the True Dialogue podcast. Again, we want to thank you for joining us. Corie, you have a great day.
All right,
Family of
you too.
Overcomers, as always, give yourself a round of applause on the outro. And I am your host, Queen SGV, Miss T, the triumphant one. You all have a blessed, beautiful day, and we'll see you on the comeback. See
All right.
Boogie! Have a good one, my friend.
All right.
All right, let me go to my.